Hey guys, Prowl 1701 here, and today on Face Off, I am asking the question, which one do you think is better, the 5th Doctor's era or the 6th Doctor's era? I was curious about this, because I hear some people talk about the 5th Doctor being kind of bland, and his era kind of starting the downfall of Classic Who, and I hear so many people talk about how the 6th Doctor's era is so underrated. Now, a lot of people mean that with Big Finish, and we are just talking about TV stuff here. But I still, even TV, I have people who swear that Colin Baker's run is just underrated. It's actually better than people think. So I wanted to pit these two against each other and see what would result. Now, I haven't seen all of either of these eras. I've seen all of Season 19, part of Season 20, part of Season 21, part of Season 22, and all of Season 23. But from what I have seen, I'd say the 5th Doctor has a stronger era. One, I like the 5th Doctor better than I do the 6th Doctor. Now, they both place fairly low on my list, but I do like the 5th Doctor better, and I was very fond of him when I was little, because I also had blonde hair that parted like that, so I could really identify with his Doctor when I was a kid. And he does have some really good stories. I love Castrovalva Caves is great. Earth Shock is great. I just finished Frontios and really enjoyed Frontios. And he has several good stories. 5 Doctors is amazing. Whereas Colin, you have to look really hard just to find truly amazing stories. I think Vengeance is great. I love Vengeance. I think Mysterious Planet is really good. And I like Terror of the Vervoids, and I like Revelations a lot. But even the stuff I've seen from Season 22, and I've only seen half of Season 22, the ones I have seen, I still haven't seen in a while. I really need to give the 2 Doctors, Revelation of the Daleks, and Vengeance a good rewatch. Vengeance is the most recent, but it's still been a little while. Revelations, I don't even remember most of it. I remember the basic plot and then one of the cliffhangers. And 2 Doctors, it's still been a while, even though it's a little fresher in my mind. I think I watched somebody reacting to it a few months ago, so that's like an abridged version of it's definitely in my mind. In Season 23 I like Mysterious Planet, I like Terror, I don't really like Mind Warped, and Ultimate Foe has a really good first half and a really second half, for obvious reasons. And the 5th Doctor still also has his share of bad, though. Like, I don't really care for Black Orchid, to be honest. Has some good moments, but I don't really care for it. I don't like Kenda at all. Could be my least favorite Davison story. But then again, other stuff like The Visitation is really good. And even Time Flight, I think, is a little underrated. I'm not saying it's great, but it's underrated. I like Arc of Infinity. I think it's underrated. But then you have, like, Warriors of the Deep. So it will be interesting to see more of both eras, to kind of see how that comes out when I've actually seen all of Colin's stuff and all of Peter's stuff. So I am looking forward to seeing more of them. But I do personally find that the 5th Doctor's era, for me, has been stronger thus far than the 6th Doctor's era. But let's see what y'all thought about it. This is funny, because as I said, I've heard people talk about how underrated the 6th Doctor's era is. And then you go to the poll. Which era of Doctor Who do you think is better? And the 5th Doctor's era wins by 64%. 64%. With the 6th Doctor's era only getting 22%, and about the same, getting 14%. So about 14% thought they were about the same, about a tie. 22% voted for the 6th Doctor era. 64% voted for the 5th Doctor's era. Almost 3 times as many. Almost 3 times as much. So all this talk I hear about the 6th Doctor's era, it is so good, you just don't know. But apparently not. At least from the people who voted. We had 176 votes in this poll, so not a large poll. It is a small channel, let's be honest, at the moment. But growing, which I'm very grateful for. But 64%, I did not expect this one to run away quite this much. I thought it would be closer than that. But no, it was almost a 3-to-1 vote in favor of the 5th Doctor over the 6th Doctor, with about 14% saying that it was a tie. Let's see. Let's see some of the comments. Sometimes it's interesting because sometimes the comments don't reflect the poll. Like there'll be more comments the other way. That's interesting to me. Let's see. Henry says, I would have to say, out of these two at least, that the Fifth Doctor's era was better. As much as I dislike his companions, apart from maybe Perry, which he's not really with that long, I do feel that his era still has a certain charm about it. The Doctor being young and vibrant, not just in his dress sense either, really contrasted with the 19 years we had before him. Oh, and his era includes the Five Doctors, which at least at the moment is my favorite Fifth Doctor story. I really like the Five Doctors as well. With that being said, though, Colin Baker did add another layer to the Doctor that actually did work. See, is it his fault if the writing is bad? It's one of those things. He was the Doctor whether we liked it or not. True. And then Dom jumps in. I always like when Dom jumps in. I do think Six's era gets a lot of crap it doesn't entirely deserve. But whilst I could see the accusation that Five's era can feel a bit standard at times, it's still an era that is mostly consistent and has some genuinely out there moments and developments. I think Five gets a little screwed just because it's the fifth one in, so the formula of each new era is very established. It's after Tom Baker's long run in popularity, but before Colin Baker's short run and general lack of popularity, so Five ends up just sort of there as opposed to standing out in the wider context of the series. Which sucks because whilst it was season 18 that made all the fundamental changes, it's still Five's era that carried them forwards. Eloquently put, as always. Nodark the Green Wolf says, I voted the Sixth Doctor. Now, yes, I haven't seen much of the Fifth Doctor, only his first season, so that's definitely one reason. Although I think his first season is his best season, honestly. But a lot of Sixth Doctor stories have become some of my favorite. Only really Twin Dilemma and Time Lash Tainted. But fair enough. Like I said, some people just like the Sixth Doctor. Let's see. Steven, one of my patrons and one of my subscribers, also says, the first two seasons of the Fifth Doctor are two of my favorite seasons, so I picked the Fifth Doctor, of course. Six got screwed by the new boss of the Bee, but he was saved by the big finish. If you're going on TV alone, it's Five and Daylight. No, that's fine. I didn't realize that season 19 and 20 were two of his favorite seasons. I'm curious as to why. What stories he likes from those seasons are, what stories he don't. He doesn't. Shamrock Particle says season 19 trumps 20 through 23 for overall content, but 22 has more action and liveliness than the beige blobs of 20 and 21. And I love Terror of the Vervoids. I like Terror of the Vervoids as well, actually, especially the trialless version on the box set, which is not quite as original as Castrovalva and Four to Doomsday, but has innovations of its own, more subtle dialogue too. Yeah, I still can't get over the Vervoid outfits, though. Once you see that, you just can't unsee that. Bobby says, that's easy enough. Series 19 is excellent. 20 and 21 are weak, but do have gems like Enlightenment and Caves. True. Season 22 is one of the worst ever. 23 isn't too bad, but overall Davison was a better Doctor and had better material. Colin Baker was doomed from the costume and the victim of a script editor who did not want him and a producer who was a little crazy. Yeah. The poor man in the coat. I gotta give props to the man in the coat. He did what he could, but man, that is a coat. Let's see. JLBWHO, another one of my patrons, says the Sixth Doctor era, not only out of these two, but as a whole, is the best. I think he just called the Sixth Doctor's era the best. Yeah, the Sixth Doctor era, not only out of these two, but as a whole, is the best. That's an interesting take. I don't think you can make the objective argument that the Sixth Doctor's era is the best. Well, I guess you could try making it. I would never agree that it is the best. Now, if it's your favorite, that's fine. I mean, if it's just your personal favorite for whatever reason, maybe that was your first Doctor, maybe you're just right at the age to latch on to it, right when that was going. I don't know. Although him and I get on really well. We talk a lot, so I know he's younger. He's in his 20s. So he started, I know JLB started with Modern Who. So I'm surprised the Sixth era would be so high up. I'm curious about that. I'm curious why he has such a fondness for the Sixth Doctor's era, especially with that coat. I'm curious. Bananas Are Good said, Fifth Doctor's by a mile for me, considering I only like one of Colin's seasons. Which I think I asked which one, and he said 22. Yeah. Yeah, he likes 22 a lot. Or at least likes 22. And Hudson Music, who does some really good Doctor Who music, I might add, says, shame that Davison is winning. I feel like Colin Baker has more averagely better stories, even though he does have less of them, whilst Davison has 3 seasons of pretty bad stories scattered with heavy hitters. For every Earthshock, you get a Ford of Doomsday, Kinda, and Time Flight. Ford of Doomsday is awesome. I love Ford of Doomsday. And I find Time Flight underrated. Although Kinda sucks. Yeah, Kinda's awful. So, interesting. A little bit of mix of 6th Doctor and 5th Doctor in the comments. So that's pretty nice. But, at least going by the poll, the 5th Doctor era clobbering the 6th Doctor era almost 3-1, 64% against 22%, with 14% calling it basically a tie. I'd like to know what you think of this poll, and what you think of the results, and what you think of these eras, if you haven't commented already. So comment down below and let me know what you think. Other things to do, click the like button, and the subscribe button, and the bell for notifications so you never miss out on another video. I also have a Patreon if you would like to support what I do. There is a link to that down in the description below. I am trying to get in the habit of where I am offering an exclusive video, at least one per week, to some of my middle to higher tier patrons, basically from the $10 tier up. Should get a free exclusive video every week. I also like to try maybe one good early access video per week. I'm still trying to get all that sorted. Of course, people at the $10 and up also get a varying amount of video requests per month they can do if there's something interesting they want me to talk about. So if there's anything there that you're interested in, check that out. I also have a P.O. box if there's anything you would like to send me. Like, for instance, speaking of the 5th Doctor, I just recently watched Frontios, which was sent to me by one of my subscribers, Robin. So if you would be interested in sending anything to me you would like me to review, check out that P.O. box in the description below. A link to my Amazon wish list is there as well. I have updated it recently to include some of the Big Finish stuff I'm really interested in, like the Last Adventure is on there, the Out of Time with the 10th Doctor and the 4th Doctor is on there, and the Return of the Cybermen, which was the original version of Revenge of the Cybermen, and most of you know I love Revenge of the Cybermen. That one's on there because I'd love to hear that. And then I have a few non-Doctor Who things on there, like a Battlestar Galactica collection, a Buck Rogers collection, and some Super 7 Ninja Turtle stuff, because I do collect those as well, if there's anything there that you would want to send. Most importantly, though, thank you for watching.